We should be live. The music's playing.
The music should be bugging in and out.
Same here.
Reminds me of Stranger Things so much. Cool, we got, hey, it's Alex. Yo. Sweet. By the way, guys, you can always watch this. I hope the stream health is going to be good. You can always watch this over on YouTube and follow the comments over there. With me.
I'll be back in a second. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to get my tablet. So hold on.
This reminds me a little bit of Never
I should
Ending
have shared
Story
that
too.
video with you earlier, Arthur, because then you might have, been able to watch it and pick out parts that you would like to share, if there's any you'd like to share with it. But it's, unfortunately, I just only remembered at the last moment.
Okay. Phobos, you guys don't get carried too much away in the... Don't get carried away too much in the chat, because I'm going to be probably covering your story first, so that I don't have to keep scrolling, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I intended to write one for this
Nice.
broadcast, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get around to it because so much other work I had to do. I wasn't able to even get started on it.
Okay. Alright, guys, I'm getting ready for my introduction here. Once Chris gets around, I'll readjust volume, so here we go.
Alright, cool.
Alrighty. Here we go, everybody. We're launching our Monster Rat friends. The voices are here. Welcome to the eighth Monstercast, Voices of the Monsterhood. And we're live again on YouTube due to it being Monstertober. So happy Monstertober to all you Monsterites out there. I hope you're having a great time. A great Monstertober of 2018. This Monstercast is going to be covering scary or monstrous stories. So if you have a monstrous story that's not necessarily scary, but it's quite monstrous, you can share it as well. And scary stories. In the chat, we got Alex Novak. Our first man out there was, hey, it's Alex. Yo, what's up? We got people watching. We got my brother is about time you go on live. Yeah, it is. And I wonder what I'll do on Halloween. I haven't decided yet. Maybe do some Halloween special here, just live by myself, talking to you guys in the comments. Hey, my buddy.
That could be fun. That could be really fun.
My good old friend, my ancient friend, one of my best buddies in the world, right here, Soul Traveler. Hello, Monster Master, my friend, my closest friend in real life. It's right there. So welcome. Awesome to see you. Kind of weird. Let's see. Finally made it to one of these streams. I hear you, Alex. Brand Verdier. Hey, how's the Monster Reads going? Well, we're gonna find out. Dog Donzo's in two places at once because he's amazing. Is your favorite game? My favorite game. At this point, I'm not sure. But I have a good feeling it's something that Soul Traveler is related to. Okay, guys, so welcome everybody in the chat on Discord. We have Arthur. That's me. We got Dundee in the chat. We got Doug Dunzo. Welcome, Doug Dunzo.
Hello.
And we got Gargamel Goldback. He says hello. mentally. And we got Phobos also in chat. They are forever chained to the chat, Dande and Phobos. That's where I have secured them. That's their prison, but they're masochists and they love it. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so today we're talking scary stories, and I'd like to start this stream. By the way, how are you guys in the live chat? In the
very good. Just from a party.
Excellent. Excellent. Is everybody's Monstertober going good? Tell me in the comments there. Tell me in the live chat right there. Excellent. George just joined. Try to say that 3 times.
My Halloween season been going pretty good so far.
Excellent. Yeah, it's not bad. It's been cool here. So, I would like to start... Oh, by the way, I want to remind you guys, and thank you, Dog Dunzo, for your submission for this Halloween monster art contest. We got another submission from Doug Dunzo, so be grateful to him because he just raised the prize probably for you guys that will, or for whoever will win. So the more people that join, the higher the prize will be. And I hope we end up with more people. So to you out there that are participating, thinking about it, or know somebody that should be, the deadline is October 31st. So to get your female Venom Predator, I said it correctly in order, 2D artworks to me. So that would be great. So I would like to start our monstrous stories today with a little poem, a short poem I remember from a scary story back in the day, a scary storybook back in the day. Maybe you guys can recall which book I'm referring to, and my scary story today will be of a similar book. So here we go. O'Reilly is dead, and O'Larry don't know it. O'Larry is dead, and O'Reilly don't know it. They both are dead in the very same bed, and neither one knows that the other one's dead. That's it. It's a beaut. I'll clap. I need a clap sound here. Let's see. There we go.
I'm sorry, I didn't really hear most of that. I was like, did I say something?
Oh, really? I can repeat it real quick.
I'll
repeat it one more time, just a little faster.
I heard something about 2 people being dead in the same bed, and that's it.
If anybody knows what book that's from, what little short story book, scary short story book that's from, let me know. That'd be cool. I'll repeat it one more time, really quicker. O'Reilly is dead and O'Larry don't know it. O'Larry is dead and O'Reilly don't know it. They both are dead in the very same bed, but neither one knows that the other one's dead. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. I like it.
That kind of hurts my brain, to be honest.
Either they're both undead, or they're just stuck in their bodies and they're dead and they're not moving on. So, that's our ghostly start for the show. So we should all have some stories, maybe, hopefully. Cool. We got the claps going. We should have some stories shared by everybody. I got a short one that I found in this book. So I'm going to start with... And I'll read it for him. We got Phobos, one of our Monsterites, in the chat on Discord. And remember, you guys can always join these live Saturday Monstercasts over on Discord or wherever we're streaming. After Monstertober, which is now, next month, we'll be back to streaming directly to Twitch and just playing the episodes hereafter. So keep that in mind. Join our Twitch, support us there, because we just got to spread out. You never know what YouTube's going to do. That's enough about that. Let's jump to Phobos' scary story. Is that all right, everybody? Alrighty. So, Phobos reads, "Here's a little folklore. It's about how Devil's Peak got its no-nonsense name. Devil's Peak is the smaller chunk to the left of Table Mountain when looked at from the direction of the V&A waterfront." I'm assuming this is South Africa since it's mentioning Table Mountain. Once upon a time...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Once upon a time, very long ago, long before we had the wonderful V&A waterfront development, there lived at the Cape a formidable pirate from Holland whose name was Jan Van Hunks. That's my middle name, Jan. Van Hunks had reached the end of a checkered career of plunder at sea, and he had retired to a better life on the slopes of the majestic Table Mountain. It was his way to while away the hours at his favorite spot on the mountain. Live away the hours, I don't know, his retired hours on the favorite spot on the mountain, smoking his pipe and enjoying the view. And isn't it just great? Yes, so it's a retired pirate living his life, retired life on Tabletop Mountain, overseeing the ocean. One day as he sat smoking at his special nook, he met a man in black, with a large black hat covering his face. To be cordial, Van Hunks went and sat beside the man, took out his pipe and began to smoke. The stranger took out his pipe and followed suit, saying, "I'll wager that I can smoke more than you." Now Van Hunks was a confident smoker, and so willingly accepted the wager. The contest began, and huge clouds of smoke billowed up around them and spilled down like a tablecloth over Table Mountain. Van Hunks persevered until the stranger finally set down his pipe in defeat, and he revealed himself to be none other than the devil. And so, forevermore, when the clouds cascade over the mountain, we sit down here and speculate whether Van Hunks and the devil are having a smoke. Phobos says, not scary,
Wow.
but really interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Phobos, let us know if you wrote that or where you found that story, because if you wrote that, that's pretty cool. If you found it somewhere, that's nice to know that there's some little bit of lore to Table Mountain there we can think about when the mists come up.
I was actually I was on Table Mountain while there was mist, and it was so bloody cold, and it was almost like being in winter, even in summer. It was cold, because of the cloud, it was wet.
Right.
It was not the best, but the view was great. I
It's
wouldn't lie,
eerie.
the view was great. I
Yeah,
would not live there, but it was a good experience.
it becomes eerie and peaceful. I like it.
Chris is here.
In the comments,
Good evening.
Trevor Donahue says, "Hey Arthur, man, finally got a live stream. Hell yeah, man, great to see ya. Blob for the win. And welcome, Chris. Welcome. Awesome to have you.
Hello.
I knew you wouldn't miss it. Don't worry. I knew you'd be here."
I apologize. I actually momentarily forgot that we were doing this today.
No problem. All the
I was
stories.
kind of,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yes. Couldn't hear you, Arthur. You cut out.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No. I was asking you to repeat yourself because I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that's fine. I haven't actually read any stories ahead of time, which is kind of good and bad, because hopefully I will read them smoothly out loud. But the good thing is I haven't read them yet, so they're kind of a surprise to me, just as Phobos's was here. And if you want to get caught up, Chris, if you didn't hear the last one, it's right in the chat here on Discord. Phobos printed that one, wrote that one out, so I just read that one out loud. Even my story that I'm going to be sharing, I didn't read yet, so...
Yeah, I'm started reading up, catching up with things because I finally managed to get the big lore-friendly maps mod to work on Total War Warhammer 2, and I had a blast killing Beastman Ascaven in the defense of Karakadrin.
Excellent.
Sorry about the delay.
We got Z back in the show. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Still keeping his perfect record.
I'm going to be playing that. I think I'm going to be going through a campaign with my friend here, Chris, in the Warhammer Total War. So.
Oh, what about it?
I think we're going to starting a campaign sometime here over at my friend's place.
I'd love to join.
That sounds
I shall be
interesting.
your resident rat.
Hey, we'll see. Maybe I'll stream it. I'll see how he feels about that. There he
Sorry
is.
to take things off of course. I just would like to ask, what's with all the Predator stuff that's been posted?
Not
Ask
sure.
Monster.
I'm just guessing people really like Predator a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, for a moment there, I thought you were talking about my suggestion from last week.
I think it was just Monster Hunter having fun with it. He's back on track here. He's got a story to share, I think. Okay, so we're going to all be sharing some story. If you have something to share, if you don't, no worries. You can add your feedback in. I just want to get through the written ones by our writers in the Discord, so we don't have to keep scrolling back and forth. So I'm going to read Dande's next. Okay?
I really wish I had one. I meant to write one just for this occasion, but, as I said earlier, I think off the stream, I couldn't, actually get around to it because I had so much work I had to do that was, completely unrelated, but was more important, unfortunately.
Yeah, no worries
Work
at all.
comes first.
Most of us, I think, didn't write anything, but just found something. And you found a cool thing out there, too. We'll try to share that. So, good evening, Grudge Turner. Welcome to the show. All right, so here's a scary story, or monstrous story, from Dande. And he says, and you guys can follow along here on the screen. I'll try to add in images later if I don't have to read or something. So here we go. I had a friend tell me this during college. But they worked at a Jack in the Box during their later years in high school. At the time, Jack in the Box, or at least the ones in my area, had to be open till midnight, late night drive-through. So midnight, late night drive-through. And he had that shift. So he had the shift until midnight for the drive-through. There was him and two sisters on that shift. The burger place in question was located in lower region of Arizona, where they had started developing houses, so it was pretty barren out there. Sometime around midnight, they got this one customer drive into the parking lot in an old sedan of sorts. Said it looked as if it were about to die, as it had smoke coming out of the hood of the car, and the muffler was shooting out exhaust visible to see. Not to mention that loud thumping sound these cars tend to do. The guy drives into the lane that feeds into the drive-thru, which is between the building and a ditch. The guy orders his food, and it comes out to be about $6.66. 666. Which is possible, as I've gotten that amount before at Burger King. My pal tells me that after he tells the sedan guy to drive up to the window, the guy's engine cuts off and a loud bang rattles outside. They laughed at the time because they thought his car was finally dead, or had finally died. They looked out the drive-through window to see where he was at, but couldn't see his sedan on the side of on the cameras, so they wondered where he went. They looked out the big windows out front in the parking lot, and one of them dared open the back door to see if he had driven into the ditch, and they said they couldn't find the car or the guy anywhere. They didn't know what to make of it, so my friend quit on the account of being superstitious. That's from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. 3 or 1? Oh, are you telling me, I think the last sentence he was referring to, my poem. So yeah, so his order came out to 666 and then he disappeared. That's actually a good joke to play
I
on
didn't
somebody.
know the devil liked burgers.
Try to order something at a drive-thru that is $6.66 and then just drive away. What a prank. This a mellow prank of sorts.
We don't have anything that cheap here, as far as I know.
Right. Well, yeah, and your currency's different too. So thanks for sharing that, Dande. Dande, was that real? Was that a real story, or was that from the book you mentioned, or were you referring to mine? I have to catch up here a little bit. So what did you guys think of that?
was a pretty
That
solid
was
story.
good.
Pretty
It's
solid.
Definitely out of
It's a
the.
plot twist.
Oh well. I shouldn't be hawking out too loudly. I feel like I have nothing to contribute to this one, though.
No worries. Just your thoughts and feedback will be appreciated.
It sounds interesting. Well, certainly.
Okay, so Dante
But
did.
I don't know. I think it's just me that have been desensitized to scary things. E.g., why I love monsters.
If we had sound effects during this, like scary sound effects, I don't kid you, I would leave. I wouldn't be here. The fact
Funny
that
when
it's
it happens to you.
quiet.
Cool.
No. I mean, if Arthur had like scary sound effects playing while we're doing this, I would not stay here. I would say, okay, I'm tired. Good night.
Aw.
I'm not staying.
I should have.
Sound effects scared the absolute hell out of me, and they make the scene.
Cool. We had a good number watching. One of our higher numbers. It's not huge, but it's great for us.
Yeah,
It's
17
we had
people.
18 people watching here. Now we're at 17. That's pretty good. Let's see. In our YouTube chat, we have Predator is my childhood. We could take that in a couple of ways. Hey, Alex, but I get it. We got, hey, everyone, Trevor. My man says, Soul Traveler, anytime a customer's total came to 666, I would have an easy way to upscale them something. So, yeah. My buddy's got a lot of experience with that. Paladin Demo, heading to work, quick submission, Great Cobra Scare of 53. Not sure what that is. I'm going to copy that and maybe Google that. Great Cobra Scare of 53. Brand Verdier, do you think that some people misunderstand some monsters of all kinds? I certainly do, as they do with animals, or they monstrosize animals. Monstrosize. That is, we should put that word in the dictionary. All right, and let me Google what he talked about, because that sounds interesting.
Ancient torture devices have a way of striking fear into any...
Let me take a look at this. Cobra Scare.
What was that
of
about
50
torture devices?
Let's see. 1953. Oh. I don't know if that's real. The Cobra Scare of 53, if anybody knows about that. Oh, that was a real
Nope.
thing. Okay, so that's a true kind of scary story. A cobra got away somewhere. That's interesting how it made headlines for so long and it's still titled a 53, because that happens all the time, stuff like that. So, anyway, is there anybody next that would like... Oh, by the way, Donde said that last sentence was referring to the poem, so he did get my poem where I read that poem from. I mean the scary story book. And he said that he made up that story with the drive-through.
Hang on, I'm going to get something to devour. I'll be back momentarily.
No worries, we'll be here. And Phobos did say that he also made up the scary story of... That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Phobos. That's good. Yeah, that's good thinking right there with the tabletop mountain and all that, and Van Hunk's smoke in the pipe with the devil. That's pretty cool. I think we'll add that lore to Tabletop Mountain, and you guys can tell it there in South Africa when you're sitting around the fire. So, thank you guys for sharing in the text. Now, how about you guys in the voice? We got Doug Donzo, we got Gargamel, Chris, and Z. Do you guys have anything you wanted to share?
I have a story that I'm currently... It's going to be a short story I'm writing now. It's too long for the YouTube chat, so I'm putting it in the main voice chat thing.
Okay.
And I'll post it as soon as I'm done writing, and it shouldn't take too much longer.
Okay.
Until
It is a
after
short story,
Gargamel.
though.
I'll save your videos.
But it's more than 200 word count, so it's just too long for the YouTube chat. I'm going to put it in the YouTube chat, but I decided to put in the main voice chat. So I'm going to go over there, and I'll come back here when I'm done writing it, and I'll let you know immediately also, okay?
Okay. I'll share your video probably at the end here. We'll take a look at some of those too. Okay.
Yeah, well, this isn't a video. This is a short story I'm writing that I think you might kind of like. It's a monstrous short story. It's kind of funny, though.
Cool. Sounds good. Okay, in the
Right.
chat, we got Brand Verdier. We got, hey, it's Alex. Yeah, I could have worded that better. Haha. I couldn't. Right. The Predator thing. Hey, I loved your Venom review. Personally, I loved the movie. The movie was really fun, and I recommend you guys see it, and I'd like to hear your opinions. Chris, what's up?
Oh, the Venom movie you meant. You want your opinions?
Go ahead, man.
Well, just cut out the first half hour, and the minor nitpick of the fact that Venom's supposedly a quote-unquote loser from his planet, and that Riot is better than him, considering Riot is canonically his no one cares about grandson. And their names just being Venom and Riot just because, not without any reason. Like, take all of that stuff away, adore the movie. My personal favorite scene from it has got to be when Venom tells Eddie to jump off of the building, but he goes to the elevator, and the following response after that.
Yeah. That worked. Some of that humor
I would
worked.
like to apologize. Sorry. It would seem that I cannot post the second video. It's just sending me this one, and this one is the one that scared the ever-looking crap out of me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna quit.
Okay, we'll see. I'll see what I can do and how long it is. No worries. Yeah, Chris, I think
No, I'll just give you the short version of the top 3, and then you guys can watch it whenever. But
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
everybody in the stream, there you go. If you want to get scared, crapless, watch this video. I would post the other one, but it doesn't want to listen.
Cool. In reply to you, Chris, and about Venom out there, I think we can all agree that Scream would have been a better antagonist. The female yellow symbiote female character. But we may see her in the future, so not sure yet. But I think she would have been better than Riot. Anyway.
Personally, I would have liked for them to save those symbiotes that are Carnage kids for when after Carnage is introduced, but I can agree Scream would have been a better fit. Something amazing about this movie, the main love interest not only doesn't in the end get with the main character, but actually does something useful for the plot. I am very impressed.
Right. Yep. Let's see here. Listening to this in the car. So Soul Traveler in our comments, my buddy's listening to this in his car. I'm away to get a spoonbender. That just makes me laugh. Spoonbender. It's a dessert here. Sorry, just the name makes me laugh. Okay, continuing. Let's hear. I have a question for the which dinosaurs hybrid is better, Indominus Rex or Indoraptor?
Interrupter.
There you got your answer.
Could you please repeat the question?
Which hybrid dinosaur is better, Indominus Rex or Indoraptor?
Both of them suck.
I would say the Indoraptor because the Indominus Rex sure could go invisible and everything, and it was large. But even with its intelligence, the fact that it's large means that if you were in a building, it would pretty much be screwed. Where the Indoraptor, it's small, it can fit in different locations. It's definitely a tiny bottle, basically.
Yeah.
Deinosuchus,
Not overkill.
best dinosaur.
Alrighty, well, there you have your answer. Hey, I gotta go, Bowser says. I hope you guys good rest of your stream. I hope we do too. We have the most people watching yet, so I'm excited. Okay, so let's go with the next scary story. Let's stay on track here. So Doc Donzo, do you want to go next? Let's cover your stuff.
All right, yeah, sure. I'm just gonna give you the highlights of the video I sent, the one that I accidentally sent 3 times.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna play it without sound. So go ahead.
Yeah, but you scare everybody. Sure, go ahead, just
That's the
without
point.
sound. The sound's basically what gets you. But
Oh, really?
I'll just share the ones that scared me absolutely the most.
Okay.
There's four. There's four in particular of this video.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially the first one that gets you. It's I'm not gonna say the whole thing. Sorry that I'm dwelling off topic. I'm not gonna say the whole thing exactly.
Okay.
I'm not that good, but I'll just stay as close as I can.
Okay.
The first one is the guy says he had a great dream before he heard a knocking that woke him, and then he could barely hear the sound of dirt falling on the coffin over his own screams. The second one that scared me the most was
By
this
the
woman.
way,
She said she heard knocking against glass. Oh, sorry, you were saying something?
nothing. I just wanted to quickly say that the animations are pretty cool. They're rough, but they really fit an eerie feeling. Go ahead.
Yeah, it really does. That's one of the things that scares me the most. But anyways, the second one that scared me the most was I heard knocking on glass. So I thought it was the window. I went to close the blinds. After I closed the blinds, I saw the knocking coming from my mirror.
Nice.
Yikes.
These are awesome.
Number 3 was my son told me to look under his bed while I was tucking him in. I indulged his request for humor. When I looked under the bed, I saw another one of him.
Nice.
He said to me, Daddy, there's another person or monster on the bed. When I looked up, it grabbed me, or something like that. I can't remember.
Cool.
And the fourth one that scared me the most was the very last animation. And it's the fact that it's so long and so terrifying. That's the thing you can see in the picture.
Okay.
But the thing goes, a daughter heard her mother calling her name, Sarah, from the kitchen. So she got up from the bed and went to the kitchen. Before she went down the stairs, her mother grabbed her and pulled her back into the room and whispered to her, I heard her too. What you see there, just to give you, because I see you going through the animation, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, that thing looks like her mother, but it's like this tentacle, almost like the mimic from that movie where the guy can't die and it just keeps repeating. Now that thing has teeth like venom, has the tentacles of those aliens, and the agility of the fastest tiger you can think of. It is downright terrifying, and the audio, oh my god.
All right. Well, I'm gonna play some of it. I'm not scared of you, YouTube, and copyright, but yeah, we'll listen to a little bit of this. Yeah, it's really cool. I hope somebody got goosebumps out there at least, because at least our goal with this show today, Monstercast number 8, is to get some goosebumps out there. So if you haven't yet, hopefully this will do it. So I'm going to play from the beginning, and then maybe we'll skip a little later and watch another one, and I'll try to make it bigger on the screen too. Hopefully it'll stream decently. So let's go.
Before you start with that, I have one more story, and this is from the YouTuber Dan the Plan. I think it's Dan Plan. Yeah, it's Dan Plan. This was, I can't remember what the movie title was. I apologize to any fans out there, but his story goes: sorry, I'm screwing it up. I crept up to the mirror and played rock paper scissors, and I lost.
I like that.
I'm sorry, what?
Repeat it, Doc Donzo. Doc Donzo, can you hear me? So Chris, if you didn't hear him, I think he said something along the lines of, I crept up to the mirror and played poker with myself, and I lost.
I heard he said he played rock paper scissors with his mirror and lost, and I was like, what? How does that work, Doc Donzo?
Well, exactly. Exactly. That is the question there. I think Dog Donzo lost his feed or something. And I mean that literally. We do feed him meat to keep him talking here. So, yeah, I'll play his video and we'll see if he comes back. Let's check this out. Sounds great.
Number 1. I was having a
Hold on, I can't make this... Oh, there it is. There we go, it's big.
pleasant dream when what sounded like hammering woke me. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own scream. Number 2. I woke up to hear knocking on glass. At first, I thought it was the window, until I heard it come from the mirror again. Number 3. There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone. Number 4. My wife woke me up last night to tell me there was an intruder in our house. She was murdered by an intruder 2 years ago. Number 5. I never go to sleep, but I keep waking up. Number 6.
Nice.
The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my scream. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream, but as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open. Number 7. There's nothing like the laughter of a baby. Unless it's 1 a.m. and you're home alone. Number 8. I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." Number 9.
All right. We'll go about halfway. I hope you guys heard that out there.
The one where he gets his heart ripped out. Oh boy, that one was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I love how the drawings and the animations are really simple, but they're done well. Like, the timing on them and the effects are pretty effective. Without better phrasing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I like how simple they are. Like, I live alone, but there's a picture of my phone of myself sleeping. Simple as that. Beautiful. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Dog Donzo, who's not around right now. He'll be back. Something happened to him. He shared the wrong story. In our chat, we have, in our YouTube chat, we got OPK says, "Dude." He also says, "If you want to hear a good story about Poltergeist, I could tell you one if you want to hear. Is it real?"
Well, join the Discord. Come on and share with us.
Yeah, join the Discord or type it out in the YouTube chat. I might get the chance to read it from there too. So it does have relevance to Robin Hood. D-Wez says, "Stoked about this show, guys. Awesome, and stoked that you're here, man. Glad you made it. I saw you were going to, you mentioned that you were going to. Hey, it's me, the Monster Hunter. Oh, Noel. Noel is at 2 places at once. Amazing. Spooky, Brent says. Hey, it's Alex. The murdered wife one was really good. Yeah, I just didn't hear the ending there. It was a little muffled. But I'm going to finish watching that. That's pretty cool. I think we should do something like that ourselves. Maybe we'll talk off stream about that, guys. make a video for World of Monsters with our own writing like that. It's a good idea.
Writing of what? I'm sorry, the connection cut out. What are we going to talk about after the stream?
I was thinking maybe off stream sometime we can set up our own kind of scary stories. Everybody can share like a short 2-sentence one, and I can make a video on that in the future. That'd be kind of fun. Let's see. True ghost story that happened to me when I was 12. My family witnessed. Paranormal. Okay, so that's when Trevor got into it. Cool. And I get email from people and private messages too from World of Monsters and viewers telling me their paranormal experiences. It's one of my favorite things about running this channel, to be quite honest. So yeah, you guys are always welcome to share that with me. Let's see. Favorite day of the year, says DWes. Halloween. Agreed. The best holiday out there. Alrighty.
Well, I have 5 stories in my pocket of varying length, so you let me know when you want me to go.
Alrighty. Let me just catch up with Discord here. I was scrolled up. Monster Hunter posted. Still, I don't know what I'm doing here with my picture. With my silly faces. Okay.
That is a good face.
I'll read Gargamel's one, and then we'll go to you. Is that okay, Chris?
Perfectly fine.
Alrighty. And Dande said, nice one, Gargamel. So there's some feedback. It's going to be good. Okay, Gargamel's story is... Oh, I got one for you guys. Here's my scary story. One day, a couple of friends, John and Kushner, went to their local MC Monster and decided to order a couple quarter grounders, or royals with cheese. I think pounders. For those of you who live in Europe. Burgers. After they bought the burgers, John opened up the cardboard container to make sure they hadn't made any mistakes. He got a bit nervous since it looked like the burger had eyes. Kushner told him that he had to be seeing things. John looked at him and said, "You're right. It must be my imagination." They went to their table and opened up the cardboard burger containers again. To Kushner's horror, the John's burger revealed its fangs as it jumped up towards John's face and clapped down its jaws. Kushner grabbed the burger and threw it off him, only for the burger to jump out of its container and start chewing on his leg. He screamed in pain. John tried to get it off, but then the fries and the soda attacked him. MC Monster, McDonald's, the fast food restaurant where the food eats the customers.
Are you sure that Ronald McDonald didn't have a trip to Soviet Russia that day? I mean, they have the same colors.
The clown is the overlord.
I come back to a good story.
That's cool. So MC Monster, so it's this restaurant where the food eats the people. Awesome. I am sponsoring it. Let's do a Kickstarter.
It sounds like the Plant vs. Zombies. It could be surprisingly popular, but...
Let's see.
Spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night.
All right. Monster Hunter shared another video here. It's 5 minutes. I think it's one story, so I may not play it due to copyright too, and we don't want to steal these people's content completely. But it's called The Smiling Man Animated. The Smiling Man. Ooh, that sounds good. Maybe I will play it.
Glad you guys like my story. I'm
The name
sorry.
alone intrigues me.
I had to hurry back into my room to, communicate with you guys.
Oh,
Glad
okay.
you liked it, Arthur.
I thought you were running away
I
from
think
some
that could
fries.
make a good, like horror comedy.
Yeah. I like that. I like that little break. Are you okay, Gargamel? No scars? No.
No scars from what? The burgers eating people?
Yes. And the French fries? Okay, now it's time. Go ahead, Chris. It's all you now.
Scary story involving the Burger King earlier that one of you guys shared.
Yep.
So I thought I could make up one on the spot that would be just short and sweet like that.
Yeah, good job, man. Good work. I like MC Monster.
sausage party already made me wince when I went to the supermarket for a couple of days. Now I can't go to McDonald's.
Oh, that's great. Okay, Chris. All spotlights on you. All eyes on you. And the bodies that follow
I
him.
suppose the best one to start with will be the shortest one. It's one of the shortest horror stories that I know of. Many years into the future, the last and only surviving human on the face of the earth sits in his house, in his chair. Suddenly there's a knock on the door.
Love it.
It's short, but
Short and sweet. That's all you
concerning.
need. Yeah. The whole premise
Now,
prepares
the
you.
other two, I'm not sure if I've told the one. Have I told on stream about how I saw the Bulgarian Sasquatch, basically the bear man?
I'm not sure.
No, you have not.
Pretty sure I left it as a comment on one of your videos on the one of the 4 parters of the Sasquatch video. So, of course, that there's multiple species of Sasquatch, and we got one here called the bear man, which resides in the Rhodope Mountains. And I might sound crazy. It might have been a childish dream, but I'm certain of what I saw back in the day. So I think I was like 6 or 7, and me and my family went to a friend's lodge up in the mountains. Quite remote, big 2-story house, and was the middle of winter. We had a pretty good time, and it was the last day, it was the night before we packed our things and got ready to move, essentially to leave. So somewhere in the middle of the night, huge blizzard happening, and I heard some noise like something was digging in the trash cans, and because I was on the 2nd floor, and on the back of the house essentially, and I could hear something digging in the trash can. So I woke up and went over to the window, and when I looked down, I saw this big, shaggy black form, very humanoid looking with long arms, just digging through the trash cans. And I was petrified. I kind of, how to say petrified, couldn't help but look at it. And suddenly it raised its head looking right at me with glowing yellow eyes. And that's when I kind of squeaked and hid under the window so it wouldn't see me. And I stayed there for like a couple of moments before it peeked again, and I saw it walking off. It was walking on 2 legs, and it was huge. Definitely taller than my uncle, and my uncle's a pretty tall guy. And was
Nice.
very big, could notice black shaggy fur walking away.
Mm-hmm.
Like very long arms and long legs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the bear man.
Nice. That's thanks for sharing that. I love hearing cryptid stories out there. I don't recall reading that in the comments, or maybe not as elaborate as you described it here.
Well, I think it was on part 3 or 4 of your Everything About Bigfoot series.
Right.
And the third story I have is related to the bear man. It's a different bear man story from magazine we have here. It's for magazine for weird stuff, number 8, magazine 8.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a whole issue dedicated to the bear man, in which they included the story of an old man who passed away several years ago. But prior to that, before he died, he shared a story. And so he was a shepherd, and oftentimes shepherds here, at least specifically in the Rhodope region where he lived, they would during winter they would take their herds up into the mountains, and they'll have this secluded shed, like wooden shed for one person only, where they would stay like a week or so. And while there, it was again thick of winter. And the man was putting firewood into his fire as he went up, as he had done for many years with his flock there. Um, and suddenly he could hear some very strange growling outside, which later turned into howling. And he thought it was wolves, so he opened up the door to his shed to look out, and could see the huge, tall form of like pitch black with glowing yellow eyes just staring right at him. It was about 20 meters away from his the enclosure of his shed, and was just standing there about 8'9". He to convert it from meters to feet
Mm-hmm.
was standing next to a tree, and guy was horrified,
Yeah.
and he tried shouting and to chase it away, but the thing started shouting back at him with just howls and stuff. He took out a piece of firewood he had with him, like a big solid chunk, and threw it at the thing to try to chase it away. The tree, the piece of wood landed right next to it. The thing looked at it briefly, crouched down, picked it up, and threw it right back at him, hitting the side of his house, of his shed. So that's when he went in to grab his gun, but before he could come out to again go to the thing was gone. Now he bolted himself in the shed, and soon as morning came, he opened up, gathered his flock, and went back to the village. And since then, he hasn't gone into the mountains. That was until he died a couple of years ago.
This is a friend of yours in Bulgaria?
I don't know. This is a story that I read. I had my experience with the bear man when I was very little.
Okay.
But like 6 or 7. But when I was 14, 15 in my high school's library, they have subscribers. They're subscribed to the magazine 8, which is kind of a supernatural magazine that shares stuff like that. And in the magazine, that's when I saw it on the cover, an illustration of the bear man. I'm like, I've seen this before somewhere. Right. And as I was reading through the magazine, this is one of the stories told about the bear man that really stuck with me.
Nice.
So this is not a true experience. And hey, I'm back. So that's not what actually happened to you. It's just a story.
Not to him. It's from the magazine, but it did happen to somebody, accordingly.
Ah, okay, I get it.
My experience when I saw something digging through the trash can of a lodge up in the mountains. And to finish up that story, in the morning when we went to the bag, I told my mom, and I saw a thing. It's out there. As we went, nothing was there, and because it was heavily snowing, all the tracks and whatnot were removed. The first story was my personal experience. The second story I told, it was regarding the same creature, and it was a story that happened to an old man who passed away a couple of years ago. And it was written down in a magazine.
Chris, real quick question on that, as I don't want to do a total cryptid investigation here with you, but what are the chances of you considering that being a black bear of sorts?
Could you please repeat? You cut out.
What are the chances of you believing or thinking that what you saw may have been a black bear of sorts?
Well, the first and most obvious thing would be that we don't have black bears here in Bulgaria. We only have the brown kind.
Okay.
And the second was that this thing had very long limbs and walked upright. And also, bear eyes don't glow yellow in the dark.
Yeah, that's,
and it didn't have
scary.
It didn't have ears. Bears have their distinct round ears. Its head was human-shaped.
It was. Okay. That's a legit story then. I'll take it. Cool. I need to make a file again where I can mark down all these stories of different viewers. So maybe in the future I'll make a video of all the encounters our viewers have had, since where else can they really share them? Yeah, thanks again, Chris.
And I also, there are 2 stories that I specifically wanted to share. I believe they are about the same creatures, just under different names. And here's the links to both of them: the Elkman and Deer Guy. Some of you may have already read these, but
cool.
I'll leave it to Arthur's care to read them for the stream if you'd like.
Okay. All right. Let me get caught up here so I don't lose my place. Cool. Yeah. Thanks again, and I'll get back to those once I hit upon them again here in the Discord. So thanks again, Chris. We'll be talking more about your experience in the future. You can trust me on that.
Here I can see OPK Dom saying it's we just call it the Bear Man because that's it's shaggy. It has a lot of fur like a bear.
Okay.
But it looks like a human. It's essentially the local Sasquatch of the Balkans. We just call it like that because that's the closest the local villages can associate with it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how international these versions of Sasquatch or Bigfoot are. This humanoid.
I mean, if we look back to Legends of Dragons, the big scaly monsters are also rather spread out.
Absolutely.
I mean, none of them have been as close calling as the one you had, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to find any serious person claiming they have been interacting with a dragon.
I've managed to actually find the cover of the magazine, specifically with the Bear Man illustration.
Okay. Oh, nice. That is cool.
And this is the picture from the magazine.
Yeah.
In the mountains.
That must have been something when you saw that magazine, huh? That must have been...
I was like, hold on, I think I've seen this before.
Right? Especially that Leon...
That looks huge.
So, yeah, it always intrigues me in these cryptid stories how people mention seeing glowing eyes. Because I've really... Z, watch your microphone, Z.
Sorry?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that's what makes us cut out, too, is when there's little sounds like that. It always intrigues me, the glowing eyes thing, because I've never seen glowing eyes, real glowing eyes, or mysterious ones. And I always hear that in cryptid stories. And it always makes me think, like, what kind of light reflex can create that and this and that. And I try to imagine that in real life and such. So
wolves have eye shine. So if any of these are actually creatures that have so glowing eyes, it could just be eye shine. Maybe there is a light, but it's just make it shine back.
Right, like a reflection.
Could just be the light from the moon or something.
Yeah.
Or most people hunt with torches, right? So it
right.
could just be the torch just shining back and then the eyes being yellow or red.
Right, we all get the reflection.
Yeah, the lodge we were staying in, the woods around, there was a solid 5 to 8 meters of clearing around the entire lodge, so there were no trees. It was like a clearing.
Gotcha.
So the moon was clearly, passing through that. The glowing eyes, I'd say possibly something similar to cats, how their eyes become when light is put into them, because these sightings do often happen late at night, so they're likely a nocturnal creature.
Yeah.
So,
I think what that is the large pupil, and of course these animals, and being nocturnal, their pupils enlarging, and that allows for more reflective light to come in, so it creates for that effect too. So anyway, it's an interesting topic in itself. I want to catch up on our chat on YouTube real quick. Trevor said, my experience made my skin crawl, so I believe you, bro. OPK said, well, I give you the story. There are 3, but give me Discord, I'll talk. Okay, so hopefully he'll join Discord. Brent said, never eating at a McDonald's ever again. Hey, that's not a bad thing.
Oh, my story did the job.
Yes,
McDonald's
it did.
is going out of business. Whoa!
Yes.
Your evil mastermind has finally come to fruition.
Trust
Ironically,
me.
what makes me want to eat at McDonald's? I want to eat one of those burgers to prove my supremacy. The burger's not eating me. I'm eating it.
Trevor's...
I'm eating it up.
Monster anyway. It's not McDonald's. The story, if you actually listen to the story, I actually thought about making McDonald's, and I thought, no, that's kind of mean. So I'll just make it my own make believe burger place.
Gargamel, nothing wrong with that, with the quality of their food in this day and age, and the healthiness of their food. So don't feel bad. You did the job right.
Yeah, you probably saved a life.
There you
He's
go.
not gonna die from cholesterol.
There you go. Huzzah to that. Trevor Donahoe says, when I tell a story, I hate telling it because when I look at people's faces, their faces look like, what a load of bullshit. So my family keep it close to heart.
Whoa.
I hear that. I hear it. D-West says, guys, I need your help. My girlfriend has bought me a book on werewolves. Huzzah. And he's a big fan of werewolves. Our man D-Wes out in the UK, right? Yeah. UK or Scotland? No, UK. For my birthday in early November. I wanted early to read it in the run-up to Halloween, but she said no. What can he do, guys?
If she's still around, she could sell her to me.
Come on.
No.
First the
Okay.
tentacles,
Here's
now
the thing you
this.
need to do. If you're not going to give it to you, you shouldn't pressure the subject. You should actually act uninterested at best. I mean.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Play hard to get. As that
No,
always
actually,
works.
just try to just pretend you don't want it. Eventually, you believe yourself, and
Right.
I mean, it's a book. Can't you just go on the internet and find it?
So, D-Wes, just act like you don't care, and maybe you'll get more that way, or get it earlier.
Yeah, basically.
I was gonna say it's
Maybe
a
not
great.
earlier, but definitely.
I was gonna say it's a great opportunity for you to get into the arcane arts, the dark arts, and figure out a way to mentally or magically figure out the contents of the package and the book. Brant says, find
It's a lot
any...
of effort just to get a book.
Hey, might be worth it. Brant Verdier, find any internet trolls. Wait for Halloween. Great stories, guys. Keep them coming, Alex says. Thank you, Alex. Awesome. Back, LOL, there's a few cryptids like Bearman, Wolfman, Dogman I have heard stories of. Yep. He said he was 5 years old. Could be a dream he had. That is pretty young, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Maybe a dream about Clayman.
6 or 7-year-old, not 5-year-old.
6 or 7. Okay. Yeah, 6 or 7. You have a better an analytical brain at that point for sure. It's me, Yowie in Australia. Yep, there's Yowie in Australia. That's their version of Bigfoot there. The thing in the North England is hotbed of paranormal activity. The north of England. Your light reflection makes light reflection makes the eyes glow. That's and we also see that with camera work. I have a now cute girl. I'm not sure. I now have a cute girl, maybe. Congratulations. Question: what should you buy, a Predator figure or alien figure? I say alien figure. Let's start there. It's an older movie.
Depends. What alien figure we talk about? A rare type or just your normal facehugger and a xenomorph?
Trevor says, I believe England North would be full of energy. D-Wes says, sounds like a plan, dudes. There you go. Let me know how that works out, D-Wes. I've got some experience in things. Both an an alien and Predator figure, Louis says. I meant that. Damn, autocorrect. I only got money for one. I love it. Okay. All right. So now looking at the Discord, we have a story here, a short story, I believe, by Monster Hunter. I didn't want to skip over that. Okay. So Monster Hunter shares this with us. It was 3 a.m. I woke up. I heard scary noises in the kitchen. I went down the stairs and the noises came from the fridge. And when I opened the fridge, there was no food. Maybe that's your stomach reflecting the sound there.
Oh, no. Phobos, what have you done?
All right. Let's see. Phobos. Let's see.
No.
This is another example of fooding people. Are you guys copying me now?
Looking at Chris Chu's share, there are creepypasta shares. Let's see how long this is. It's too long, but you guys can check these out.
It's 1 hour and 4 minutes from what I will see.
Okay, cool. They have an estimation. That's nice for the read. Let me see how long.
New guy.
our stream has been going on for just over an hour now. So go ahead, guys, for anybody interested out there, and maybe I'll share these in the future on the channel for our monstrous literature. There's the Elk Man, that's a creepypasta, and there's Deer Guy. Both sound...
I'm pretty sure that it's the same creature, but from two different perspectives.
Okay, all right, cool. That sounds cool.
Maybe you could share my scary story one of these days on the monstrous literature. Like you could scare, like do a bunch of like short stories. I could make some improvements on it because I really would like to be a tiny bit longer and have a tiny bit more detail than what it does.
Okay, we can take a look at that.
Question: sure. Who's next on the scary story? Because I just remembered something that I got from the party.
Okay, Creator of Creatures just joined us. Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
Let's see, where did we leave off at? I think Chris was the last one sharing stuff. Z, I don't think has...
Yeah, could I just possibly request that you read the Elk Man one for the stream?
For the stream? Let me take a look at it. It's not too long?
I wouldn't say too long.
Okay,
Not longer than what I told.
Okay, no, it doesn't look so bad. And plus, I got mine. I still haven't read that story. I've almost forgot. Cool. I'll do the Elk Man, and then we'll jump to you, Dog Donzo. Okay?
All right.
And let me get caught up here with Discord. Beautiful. And our chat. Looking good. Okay, here we go. Get ready, guys. Get your... I don't know. Put your covers over your heads. The Elk Man. Narrative. Jack Barnett, age 26, is charged with murder and found guilty. He is issued a life sentence at an asylum. The court trials took place on the 14th of February 1993. The incident took place on the 24th of December 1992. District of Columbia, Washington. Jack Barnett... Hold on. Somebody's shuffling. I'm going to mute you, Z, for a little bit.
Zeke.
Until he's done. I'm afraid that's cutting out my audio for other people. Okay. Jack Barnett drives his pickup truck to a small ranch just outside the city. This farmhouse stood on a plain surrounded by towering trees. Its proprietor, David Shank, has hired Jack to find and kill what he thinks is attacking the livestock, a wolf. Being a professional hunter, Jack sees this as a quick and simple task. David Shank offers all the information he has on the attacks. Shank noticed that he would find one of his goats missing and would spot a cow corpse. These were no ordinary corpses. The carcasses seemed to be riddled with holes. About 10 of them. These were deep, gaping holes, unlike any that would have been left by a wolf's teeth. The only evidence of non-human entry or exit onto Mr. Shank's property were some deer tracks. They walked into the house, which was fairly ordinary as far as Jack was concerned. They sat at the table where they had coffee and discussed the terms of their agreement. Jack would be paid only upon completion of the task. It was around 5 o'clock when Jack began investigating. He first went to see the barn. Nothing strange aside from a hole-ridden cow corpse and deer tracks. Barnett went around the whole area. Nothing of interest. It was too late to investigate further. Night was falling. Jack and David prepared their armaments. 2 hunting shotguns, each utilizing 12-gauge rounds, strong enough to pierce through 2 inches of steel. Their secondary arms were standard 9mm pistols, both of which were semi-automatic. And so they waited near the barnyard. It was 10 o'clock in the evening. David and Jack waited for a good 2 hours. Shank fell asleep in the cold, moist ground. A rustling sound came from the woods. Jack Barnett's hands were shaking. He trembled. He was sweating like a pig. His forefinger inched toward the trigger of a shotgun. and as a figure appeared out of the forest, a loud bang echoed across the woods. A ringing sound of Jack's ear prevented him from concentrating. His head spun and his eyes wandered, searching for something to make him relax. But what he found was far from relaxing. A half-dead, bloody deer with red, gut-strewn paste hanging out of its place fell to the ground. As the creature twisted and jerked, Barnett passed out beside David, who surprisingly remained asleep even after the gunshot. Still dizzy from whatever happened, Jack Barnett rose from his slumber. The deer had now been dead for 3 hours. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning, and this living nightmare had just begun. Jack managed to prop himself up and with the help of his gun, of course, he placed his hand on David Shank's shoulder, shaking him lightly. The pair went over to the cornfield where Jack had investigated earlier, and much to their surprise, they spotted 2 humongous antlers protruding out of the stalks. They entered the small forest of crops as they loaded their weapons. 5 feet away, the sound of breathing and footsteps plodding through the damp soil filled their ears. 4 feet away, the 2 men took a few steps. 3 feet away, their breaths condensed in the chilly morning air. 2 feet away, Jack was hyperventilating ever so quietly. His heart raced, his spine tingled. Then he put his finger on the trigger. Trigger. Click. Bang. Echo. Deep breath. Plop. Better him than us, said Shank. He managed to smile at the dead moose's carcass. The 2 were breathing heavily, as if they ran a marathon. The pair headed back to the farmhouse. Door knob, twist, open, enter, close. Chain lock, slide, walk away. And for a moment, they felt safe. Everything was perfect. In the little ranch house, Shank told Barnett to get some rest. Jack went to the guest bathroom and washed up. The freezing water hit his face, causing him to briefly shout. The sound of that shout never reached Shank's ears, though. The noise of the heavy rain filled the corridors and rooms of the house. Jack jumped due to the brief flash of light, followed by a heavy cracking sound. Jack tilted his head towards the small window in the wall. What he saw next was indescribable. A pair of antlers entered Jack's peripheral vision. Then it disappeared due to the absence of lighting. Another strike of lightning. But what Jack discovered was that this was not a creature he had seen before. The antlers were now resting upon what seemed to be a human head. He scanned the figure, which had its back turned on Jack. The porch lights were then triggered due to the movement. Now Jack could see a head with antlers. A human head with antlers. Then Jack saw its body. The figure harbored human-like features, yet at the same time it looked intriguing. Long, spider-like arms, like arms that a man shouldn't have. Its skin was pale, a pale shade of gray. Its figure was unnerving. The thing's bones were all too evident, as if they were going to rip out of the figure's skin. The legs. Jack had seen legs like this before, except that they were attached to the body of a deer. These legs were very long and slender. Its feet were hidden in the ground, if it had feet. Then the lights went out. Lightning. The figure was now closer to the window, still having its back turned. Darkness, then light again. Jack froze. The thing was now looking into Jack. It was not just staring, it looked into him. Jack was frozen. He didn't stop staring back. Whether it was out of fear or awe, he stared. The eyes of that creature were dazzling in horrifying sense. They were white as mist. The whiteness filled its eyes, nothing but white. Its smile was most unnerving. It smiled in a way that looked wrong, as if its jaws were too small to hold this terrifying grin. Darkness, light. The thing was gone. Jack fell to the floor and started breathing heavily. He closed his eyes and hummed himself a lullaby. For some reason, Jack did not ask himself what he had just seen. A sense of familiarity struck him. Jack put on a coat and went outside. He was now looking at the deer tracks, and he followed them into the forest. What he found was shocking. The deer tracks morphed. Track by track, the hooves became hands. Human hands imprinted on soil. His hairs stood. Goosebumps were now all over his skin. Then he goes into the barn where another horror awaited him. A fresh corpse of a cow. Same as the others. It was ridden with holes. Jack nearly vomited. He leans in closer. He touches the carcass, and it turns out to be hollow, empty. As if the cow had been professionally gutted. His skin crawled. He shuddered. It was 4 a.m. Then Jack hears a loud sound from the house. The sound of a door breaking. He runs. Arriving at the door, he stops. The door was still there, intact. Then he turned around. The figure towered over Jack in all its 9-foot terror. In its hand was a familiar object. The object's name was David Shank. The figure walks closer. It contorted its body. It contorted its back and hunched. It bent its arms in strange ways, causing Shank to be flung around freely. And now it was standing over Jack. It smiled, the smile that only it could make. Jack closed his eyes as the figure stood over him, unblinking, unmoving. DC police find Shaq's body, impaled on a tree, full of holes. A shotgun was placed near the tree. Sound of evidence of a murder. The body is ridden with holes, but it did not turn out to be a body. It was a piece of skin wrapped in clothing. The police find Barnett's fingerprints on the gun. In court, Jack claimed that it was not him. The only thing he saw throughout the duration of the trials was... The only thing he said throughout the duration of the trials was, "He's going to come for you, all of you, one by one. Then he'll take me, the Elk Man." There you have it, folks. You okay out there? People still alive? Happy Monstertober.
Yeah, luckily I don't actually believe in any of this stuff, so I'm going to see Father Night.
It's a creepypasta. Sorry for my reading mistakes and slowing downs and stuff like that.
It was good. It was
You sounded
good.
Hopefully, some years of teaching helped with the reading. All right, let's see our replies in the comments here. There's quite a bit here. Finishing glug glug, post pictures, finding live stream, creature creator, scared you most. Let's see. Salem's Lot. People are talking about the scariest movie for them. So yeah, as far as the story, I like certain moments of it quite a bit.
Make for a movie.
I like how the creature had its back turned. I also like how the story was written in a way that was kind of immersive. Like when they went to the door and they closed it, it just says, or shot the gun, it just says gun, click, bang, just one wordings. It's pretty immersive.
Yeah, that's a neat story, you could say.
It is, isn't it? Uh, yeah. I think enjoyable for those Wendigo fans out there too. So thanks for sharing, Chris. Let's see. We got a nice little Predator Venom mix here for our Monstober. Okay, so I think Dog Donzo wanted to share something, and if nobody else has something, then I'll share my story last from a book I kickstarted. It's one short story. It's not too long. Dog Donzo.
You guys cut out from story. It's not too long. Say anything?
So, Dog Donzo, do you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah. All right. A little bit backstory. I went to a party tonight. It was a friend's birthday party from school, and I basically met a real life yandere. And I'm about to tell you basically all the stuff she told me. Well, not all of it. I mean, some of this is really ridiculous. So I'm gonna stick to the kind of scary stuff. But if I were you, I would take it with a grain of salt.
Hold on.
I just said, oh, wow. Oh, that's creepy. Because
I mean, go
Dog
on.
Donzo, hold on.
It doesn't destroy anything.
Dog Donzo,
try us.
Dog Donzo,
Alright.
can you repeat who is it that you met?
A real life yandere. Life yandere. Like, this girl is obsessed with her lover. No joke.
Can you explain what a yandere is real quick?
Basically, a yandere is a person who would kill for their lover. They're insane people who obsess about someone and
like
do anything for that person.
If you guys said of Yandere Simulator, you'll probably have an idea what he's talking about.
I wonder where this term comes from. Is that South African?
It's
Japanese.
Japanese.
Oh.
It's from anime.
Okay.
It's anime.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, go ahead.
This girl was actually like real life not Yukio, no, what's her name? Yuri or something? From Future Diaries.
Okay.
Alright, but anyways, the stories she told me, I mean, there's so much that I kind of have to take with a grain of salt. Either that, or this girl is heavily demented. Like, not demented, she sees demons, plain simple. But okay, let me get started from point A and just finish as quick as possible. Alright, one of the scariest ones that I remember off the top of my head was she was talking about how she was a kid. She was sleeping and she would see a girl across from her bed when she wake up. And when she clicked her eyes, it would be gone. Well, not clicked her, closed her eyes and opened it again, it would be gone. The second night, the girl appeared again. When she clicked her eyes, it was gone again. The third night, she clicked her eyes, and the girl was an inch away from her face. Her head was covered in blood, and she asked, "Do you want to be my friend?" This is where the girl told me that she told the ghost to give her the rest of the night to decide. And the following night, when the girl did the same thing to 1 inch away from her face, she said yes. Now you see why I tell you to take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, so either this girl is like crazy and just making up stories, or she has a real problem and she sees demons. One or the other.
Or a nice mix of both. That's
or
interesting.
A nice mix of both. Okay, the second one she told me was she would play outside. And it would start to become nightfall. She saw a girl on the roof, and the girl would just vanish. The next night, the girl actually reappeared and fell. When she looked to see where the girl is, the girl was in a ditch, half of her face covered in blood. When she did research, I think she said she was like 13. When she asked her parents, they told her that a little black girl was shot off the roof while she was playing by gangsters or something. Yeah.
Creepy.
Oh,
I mean,
what is
nothing
that?
really beats one of those good old, what's it called? I don't remember the term, but it's those huts in the middle of the forest. Cabin stories.
Mm.
Yeah, that's creepy because you're basically isolated.
Isolation
Yeah.
is a
The scary
it's a strong
thoughts.
motivator in on its own.
It is.
All right. I have two more. I have two more that the school told me.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I can't remember the age she told me this one was, but when she moved her house, her bed was next to the window. One evening, she was laying. She couldn't sleep. She felt like she was being watched. And when she turned around, her blinds opened to reveal her window, and behind her window, two red eyes were looking at her. And she said this continued on for like a month.
Hmm.
And she cannot. She also told me from that day that it started stopping. Well, from the day that she noticed it, she moved her bed away from the window, but she would still sometimes hear the blinds open and feel like she's being watched.
So the same girl experienced all of this?
Yeah, the same girl.
Okay. How old is she?
Yep, that's definitely a watch list of people that should not be left alone in a
Right.
cabin somewhere.
I mean,
How-
this girl was with me on school. She's really normal person. I mean,
Okay.
besides from watching anime like me.
I
But
see.
That is
when she
not
told me
unnormal.
this, when she told me all this, like literally one after the other, I mean, it kind of gets a little bit ridiculous where you're to the point where it's like you either believe it and this girl's
Yeah.
got problems or you don't.
So you're
And
saying
I
Well,
kinda
she doesn't sound like a yandere. She sounds more like she has either
Mental
mental
issues,
issues or she's seeing
or
stuff.
actually just to see
bad.
things, which
No,
is
no, no,
not
no, no.
necessarily mental.
This is not the reason I call her a yandere. The reason I call her a yandere is one, she told this evening, tonight, like maybe 4 hours ago, not even. She told me a few things. Like one, she got a necklace for both her and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend I know, his little brother is a friend of mine. But then anyways, she got her boyfriend a necklace and herself an identical one. She says for the last 2 years, she has bathed, slept, and everything with that necklace on. She hasn't removed it. If anybody touches it, she wants to scream.
what's on the necklace?
It's just a normal, like, bronze necklace. Nothing special. It's just this little bronze necklace.
Yeah, she seems a little bit like she may have some issues. But you were saying that she appears very normal. Like you wouldn't expect hearing this kind of stuff from her, right?
Yeah, she looks normal. I mean, she is pretty to some extent. I mean, she's not my type. I'm much rather into the Japanese girls, but yeah, she's pretty in her own sense.
So she is Japanese?
No, she's human.
Okay.
That's not human. I apologize. No. She's
Now,
African.
Danzo,
No offense out there.
We are, Danzo, we're all aware that the Japanese are the superior species, but you don't have to.
Yes, definitely. They're far above us. I 100% agree. Definitely. Like,
Beautiful.
seriously, I 100% agree that I would much rather deal with a Japanese person. But anyways, this girl is normal, white, well, not white. What do they call us again? Blank. They call us blank these days.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but
well,
she's a normal girl.
okay. So
But the other reason I call her yandere is when she was looking for a job. Well, this is what she told me. When she was looking for a job and her boyfriend got in the way of that, family members told her to leave him, in which she left her house for a few days. She didn't specify where she went. She just said she left to the point where they actually had to start looking for her and stuff.
okay.
And that's why I call her yandere. She really gave off that psycho, like, I don't know, that psycho vibe. But then anyways, let's get back to the scary story. She told me like 8, and I'm not gonna tell them all, obviously. I mean, but I'm gonna give you the highlights.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing.
Alright,
And yes.
Sorry, I missed everything after sharing. What?
Do you have more? Did you want to share one more with her?
Yeah. I've got two more.
Okay.
All right. One was she was sitting outside playing, and she saw. I can't remember what the things. These dogs are used a lot for dog fights. I can't really remember the name.
Pitbull?
There we go. That's the one. She said that she saw a pit bull outside of her gate, and the thing leaped over her gate and ran straight for her. She ducked because she knew these dogs were aggressive, and this one was obviously charging at her. Her scream alerted her mother, and when her mother peered out of the door and she looked behind her, the dog was just gone.
Okay.
All right, the last one, the one that I find kind of the most unrealistic or / really disturbing is she said she lived in a house once that she was very young, like 5 years old, and she said that there was originally a cult that was practiced there, and they had killed a dog and sewed on a bunch of animal pieces, like they pretty much try to make a what was it called?
Chimera?
Griffin or something. Yeah, there we go, chimera. Okay. Now, she said something about like leopard's legs on the dog's body with falcon wings and stuff like that. Now, she also said that no, that's what happened. Sorry. Now, what her experience is that when she was 5 years old, she would wake up to see the creature crawl out of the roof, because that's where the cult hit the body, and the creature would basically climb out of the roof and growl at her from the roof. It would stand on the roof like a spider, and it got so bad to the point where her mother had to investigate the room. When she investigated, she found the body of these mixed animal in the roof. The body was decaying and was rotting and all that stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the last one I'm gonna share.
All right.
The rest I can't remember enough details.
Well, I'm glad I have seen the roof of my building. I'm sure nothing bad resides up there. Except when Father goes up there, I'm fairly certain that something bad is happening.
And some of your
But
Necron
you see
toys.
why I call this girl a really nut job at this point, because I mean she was normal and everything, and I mean she's kind of pretty, but the fact that she's so obsessive, and not only that, but she's got all these stories. If even one of these stories is true, it shows problems.
Right. Yeah, the more you...
Could be a lively imagination. We should never put that beyond possibility. And we should never disown such things, because imagination is what makes monsters real.
The more
I didn't laugh at her. I pretended to believe her, but after the third or fourth story, I was like, okay, either one, this is really a problem, or either two, she's just lying and trying to impress me.
Right.
Or something.
The
implications of impressing you must be even worse.
The more you open yourselves up to these things and people, the more you're going to see and hear strange stories like this from people all over the place. So, Creative Creatures, creator of Creatures, was replying to your talk there, Dog Donzo, and he was saying, do we consider Yandari's monsters or just mentally ill? What is the line between insane and monsters? Can monsters be people? And again, this always this topic comes up when we're talking about what monsters are for World of Monsters, this channel and such. And as I always say, the extremes of animals, the extremes of people can also be monsters and can be included on this channel. So, and it's their possibility for sure.
I know this is not exactly a scary story, but One Punch Man has a really interesting take on that, because monsters exist. They're not necessarily people, but people can become monsters.
Nice. Yeah, so they made a fine line there. Quite
that's apparently a line. Maybe monsters can reproduce and other things.
From an example like that, you could say bleach also represents that because humans, if souls are left just to stay on Earth, they eventually become hollows. And if they're left alone even further, they become like Arancars, Menos Grande, so on and so forth, to the point where they're pretty much just demons, plain simple.
I see Phobos is writing in Afrikaans. I've got my eye on him.
Where's this?
You have to scroll up a little. Looking at our live chat on YouTube, we had some talk of big butts, and now we're off to good story. So, yeah, it's interesting, guys. I have a background in a lot of odd things. But I also have a lot of study in psychology too, so it gets interesting case by case. I like spending time on it though, on these things and digging deeper. Enough said
Arthur,
for now.
Your,
yes, sir.
Camera is going very glitchy on the stream.
It is. Is it flickering?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I see that. That is crazy. That's not in my control. Maybe it's something I said. That is weird.
I can't hear anybody talking, so I'm just assuming no one's talking.
I'm not talking.
Are you talking? Hello?
No, nobody's talking.
Crashes again, I'm gonna stay off. Okay, yeah, just a flood of people.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have something to share before I share my story and start slowly bringing the stream to a close?
Got nothing else here. Anyone else?
I got nothing. I'm honestly very short on scary stories.
I could share what has happened in my house. There's a few things, like 1 or 2 things that actually happened in our red light, but it's been a while.
If it's quick, go ahead, Dog Donzo. I don't see anybody else having something right now.
All right, I'll keep this short.
I have something that is very brief, and it was absolutely horrifying. Happened recently. I saw this picture.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. All right, I'll keep this short. Okay, basically, it started when I was around like 8 years old. Well, actually, no, it was 6 because I was in grade 1. All right, my front door knob has actually turned all the way, and the door has opened all the way open. And it happened once with me in the room, and twice with my mom alone at house. And we have been touched before because I was watching like a series, and then all of a sudden I was alone at house, and all of a sudden something touched my shoulder, and I got such a fright that I wanted to punch whoever it was. Surprise, surprise, no one was behind me.
Cool.
Please show on the doll where the scary ghost touched you.
It was on my shoulder. I said on my shoulder.
That deviant.
In the future, we'll make an episode on the paranormal stories.
What supernatural spirits can do these days.
I don't want to turn the show too much into just paranormal stories. I think.
I'm
done. I'm done.
Supernatural too.
We can for sure make an episode for that. I don't know why my camera is still flickering.
I actually have a question, pure technically, for this for the show's sake.
Go ahead, Z.
Wouldn't Moby Dick, the famous albino whale from the story of the same name, classify as a monster?
Well, it is abnormal, so judging by the rules of
the thing is that it's not exactly abnormal. The thing is that it's acting 100% accordingly to how
it's being hunted and stuff.
Yes, but the whale itself, I mean, we're talking about 300 pages of whaling later.
I would say I don't know the details of the story, but I know that it's huge. I know that it's bigger than a sperm whale would be in real life, so
that's
possibly a monster. Good one. Good timing. You just sit there waiting for that.
I mean,
As we all do. So yeah, it all depends on the extremity of its size.
that's the thing. Moby Dick, a whale on its own, is basically a monster fighting.
Yeah, because that would be like a dire whale, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
isn't whaling and basically closest we get to monster hunting back then? It's not a good thing.
Yeah,
But,
well,
Yeah,
that's a good book to read, from what I hear. I need to
Whales are
check
pretty
that
much
out.
defenseless.
There's Louis Zenadog is sharing, and he's a good friend of our channel too. He's sharing some info. By the way, guys, quick shout out to a Kickstarter out there. Our friends and Jeff Maricola, you can YouTube and Google his name. He has a Kickstarter going for Inktober. He's got a lesson DVD out there. He's a known artist. And then our friends, the Bottled Imp, the YouTube channel, the Bottled Imp. Friends of ours, they're back in action doing shows, and they've got a Kickstarter, a little card game that they've created. So I'd like to give them some support and love. If you can head to their channel and give them a hashtag WOM just to leave them in mystery. They know who we are, though. Okay, I'm going to share this story. You guys can take a little break. Who's doing that? Is that Phobos? No, it's Dog Donzo. It's Dog Donzo.
Sorry, I was just trying to get that image off.
The Monster
That was
Hunter.
a little bit sensitive.
Oh, okay, that's a female Venom.
Yeah,
I was
guys,
thinking.
please refrain from posting such not safe for work things on this chat. There's an appropriate chat for that.
It's okay.
Yeah, that was sorry. That was the best way I could get rid of the image as fast as I can. I'm so sorry about that.
Thanks though. That's not that bad. It's just a female Venom. But if you guys do spot something, then Dog Donzo's work way of dealing with it was pretty decent, actually. Thank you. Okay. Nipples. Let's take a look at our chat here. Yeah, technically. Okay, so here is what. Let me close this. I have this. I kickstarted this short scary stories book, a book of short scary stories, and they did it on the style of the scary story poem that I mentioned at the beginning, and I believe who was that? Phobos or Creature or Monster Hunter? No, that was Dundee. I think caught which book that was from. So there was a scary stories book, and it had these cool penciled illustrations. And they kickstarted a new Scary Stories book following that feel. And you're going to see what I mean. I'm going to open this book up so you can see it on screen too. So I'm going to... And I took my face off because I was going crazy because we're talking about wicked stuff here. And I'm still flickering. Let's take a look at my flickering. A moment of silence for the flickering. Let's see if any figure appears behind me. It's cool because it's like... Some of the camera view is cropped, but it's showing that cropped area, like the part of my room that the backdrop isn't covering, which is funky. I like it, but it's annoying. Okay, so I'm going to take on display capture, so you're going to see the book that I'm going to be reading. You can follow along. The letters are going to be big and clear. It's not too long. So are you ready for this?
Sorry, what are you going to read?
So a short story from this book I kickstarted. I wanted to do this in a video, but copyright, they already mentioned at the beginning of the book about copyright and all this. And with this video here, whatever. It's all good.
I'll
so I'm
just
going to
follow
share
along when I watch the video again.
one short story. So I'm going to show you the pages of the book and the illustration. Are you ready for this? Got my coffee. By the way, if you're reading out loud or doing a speech, coffee is not the best water is, but whatever.
Oh, well, sticks Hexenhammer, man, just to get through with it, so I don't see a problem for you to do so.
Okay. All right, I'm all caught up. Okay, so here is the story. Let me get it on display. You're going to see some funkiness here. Come on, display capture. What's up? I need to turn off the net. Okay, display capture, good. Now you're seeing some funkiness. You're going to feel a bit meta now. You're entering the Twilight Zone. There you have it, folks. Okay, this story is called A morning fog. Are you ready? I already asked that like 5 times. Okay, sorry about that. All right. A morning
If I just
fog.
disappear, it's because my thing crashed.
No worries. Okay, here we go. A morning fog. Not only were the windows of the pickup clouded from respiration, but the truck was also surrounded by a thick fog. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me make sure. There we go. Okay. You guys can see this, right? Yes. Okay. Wait, you can see everything, huh? Oh, you can see too much. Okay, sorry. Not only were the windows of the pickup clouded from respiration, but the truck was also surrounded by a thick fog, as Carl Salisbury discovered that morning when he wiped his hand across the windshield. He had awoken just past dawn in the pickup, unsure of what he had been up to the previous night, whose truck it was, sore, hungover, and especially disoriented. He sat up on the seat, sweating on the worn upholstery of the older model truck cab, stretching out after a rough night's sleep. It was a cold sweat, and the chill morning air creeping in made it particularly uncomfortable for the 29-year-old man. His boots and leather jacket were missing. He never went anywhere without that old bomber jacket. It was dark in the cab, and when Carl slid through toward the door and reached for the handle, he caught only air. Okay, that's strange. Sorry about that interruption. It was dark in the cab, and when Carl slid toward the door and reached for the handle, he caught only air. Odd, he thought, noting the missing handle. He was shaken when he fully took in his situation. Both doors and windows were missing their handles. He pushed and kicked at the doors, which did little but drain him further, due to his already weakened state, and the fact that his shoes were missing. What the actual fuck? Yelled Carl. Out of frustration, he lay on his back and kicked as best he could at each of the 4 windows, neither breaking nor even spiderwebbing any of them. He was trapped and eventually had to consider that he might be a prisoner. Worse, he remembered nothing from the previous night. Had he been drugged? Or had he just gotten obscenely drunk and stumbled into a junkyard? He considered his situation for a few minutes, nose pushed against the passenger side window, searching for a break in the fog. He could make out the edge of the cornfield, not 20 yards off. Last he knew, he was in Binghamton, a quick 15-minute drive from his home in Owego. There were plenty of woods, back roads, and farms between the two towns. He was at ease with hitchhiking on Route 17. Carl searched the trunk, the glove box beneath the seat, but he found nothing of note other than a few of the broken handles, which couldn't be used to manipulate the doors or windows, he quickly discovered. He caught a glimpse of his face in the rearview mirror. It was bruised, welted, and cut. He looked like a boxer who had gone a couple rounds too many with prime Mike Tyson. "Let me the hell out of here," he screamed, hoping to contact the outside. The time spent struggling and peering out into the unknown was slowly starting to eat at Carl. He had awoken only 30 or 40 minutes before, but it felt like hours to him, and the fog wasn't yet burning away from the early morning sun. Was it even morning? Carl thought. He knew he had been on Clinton Street in Bingham at some point the evening before. Everything after was a blur. He had to get out of the truck. He knew once he got out he'd have figured it out, and it would be one of those great drinking stories down the line. There was this one time after drinking all night where I woke up in someone's junker pickup in the country. What a story that would be. There's the picture to go with the story. Hello, there's someone out there. Hello, there's someone out there, isn't there? Carl thought. He detected movement at the back of the truck and peered out the rear window like a caged rat. I fucking saw you. Did you lock me in here? A breathless minute passed. Carl lost it then. He yanked his dirty socks off and placed them over his fist and began punching at the rear window over and over. I fucking saw someone walk past the tailgate, dude. I'm going to kick the shit out of you when I get out of here. His fist went numb. From his mangled knuckles to his broken fingers, but he kept on punching at the back window until it was spiderwebbed. Eventually, he made a quarter-size hole. He then looked over his blood-soaked sock-covered hand and grimaced at the pain which radiated from his wrist to his shoulder. A cool spout of air whisked his cheek from the small hole as he paused to take in his first minor victory over this confinement. Blood trickled from his hand onto the car seat as he used one of the broken window handles to widen the hole he had made. It took some effort, but he eventually had enough glass knocked out that he figured he could squeeze through. Here I come, motherfucker. Carl stepped through the truck bed. The small glass shards tore at his pants and into the soft flesh of his legs and thighs. Fuck! He cried out as he forced his torso through the glass and cut his shirt, stomach, and chest. As Carl stood triumphantly on the bed of the pickup, his arms raised, one hand still covered by a bloody pair of socks, he could make out a farmhouse in the distance. But the next thing he saw in the heavy morning fog was the silhouette of a man with a shotgun. Carl had little time to process the final image, as the silhouette soon fired a round into his chest, killing him instantly in the bed of the old truck. The county sheriff arrived not long after at the Pennsylvania farmstead, questioning the farmer and his family about what exactly had transpired that morning. Sheriff Keefe, I swear on my children, he came up here out of his mind on drugs or alcohol, rampaging on my front porch at about 4 this morning. I was just getting up to tend to the cows, and I hear him downstairs and chased him off with my shotgun, stated Lewis Kilmer, the farmer and truck owner. He broke a few windows and all of Ellie's potted plants and knickknacks. He understood the barrel of that gun, though, and ran toward the field and dove into my old junker. He was going on in there, smashing his head against the console, and he didn't even notice me and my son planting shovels against the doors. When he figured out we had him stuck, he tried to tear the doors off from the inside. Thank God he finally conked out, and Ellie called you all, and goddamn if it didn't take you 3 full hours to get there. The sheriff and his deputies nodded at the man's story, blaming their tardiness on a 4-hour alarm fire on the other side of the county. Lewis, I'm surprised you didn't shoot him dead before you did. It seems like you had every right to. Sir, I felt honest Christian pity on the man. My brother was an addict, and I know how they get sometimes. I was hoping he'd wake up a little more sober and sane this morning, or at least that he would have slept until you all came to get him, replied Lewis. We see it we see it more and more, Lewis. They get all hopped up on that PCP. It's like any drug. It's unlike any drug we've seen before. Some call it angel dust, and it makes them think they're goddamn Superman or something. I've seen them run through plate glass windows in town, get all cut up, and keep going on, and keep on going. Sorry, guys, my reading really started stammering there at the end. It's just text over text. Your brain starts to fog up.
That was a cool story, actually.
Yeah. Very intriguing.
I will admit, I did get a little bit lost with the characters. Not sure being who's who, but that's a minor problem.
It happens with longer reads. What I like the build-up of the story, but it being... let me go back to the image. It being just a guy on drugs? That's, like... I don't know. That's not the ending I was looking for. What do you guys think?
Oh, that was intriguing. I am honestly a bit stumped on how to react. It is
I would say, and this is a little bit off topic, but I would say I would like to see what goes on in people's head when they're in drugs. Because, especially with this Flacker and stuff.
Actually, I like that.
Why do they go crazy?
Now I'm starting to like the fact that it wasn't so paranormal as we're used to scary stories. It was, like, pretty realistic. It was just from the perception of the drugged out guy first. And that's where the buildup was, and an interesting factor, I think.
Oh.
So, yeah. Huh. I guess the fact that how realistic the story is maybe the scariest thing in itself. And again, this is the first time I read it. It was with you guys right here. So there you have it, folks.
Real life things do have a scary tone to them because they can still happen. However, the stuff that goes beyond what we consider as real is what's truly terrifying, because what if it can happen?
Right.
I mean, what if you do get curses and you die from several diseases at once? No one wants to die in the first place.
The stuff that
just a stupid example, but yeah, you get my point.
The stuff that makes your hair actually stand up when you catch something from the corner of your eye, those moments, but getting deeper into those, that's where it gets otherworldly. So, any last thoughts, Monsterites? I think we should.
Not a racist.
I think we should discuss our next topic real quick for our next Voices of the Monsterhood.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think? We're an hour.
What are the options?
We're 2 hours in, so this is our longest Monstercast yet. So congratulations! It is the final one of Monstober. So yes, clap to that.
Heck yeah!
So what do you guys
think?
think?
What are the options for the next one?
Let's see what the options are. Let's see if anybody brings something up in the chat. What would you like us to discuss in the next Monsterhood episode? Monstercast. Let's see.
While they're just typing away, I would like to say I have deep respect to Japanese people. I am a little bit under the influence of alcohol, so I do apologize for what I said earlier. I do feel a little bit bad. I do feel a little bit bad, actually.
That was a great
Japanese
moment.
people. I mean humans. Oh wait, are those different?
We've had some.
I'm a little bit under the influence of alcohol. A little bit.
Alcohol. We had some pretty funny moments in the past in these monster casts, but that has to be one of the top. So, thank you.
Everybody laughed, so it's good.
There probably are an entire nation of cultured people that would disagree.
Yeah.
So
if you have to rent,
I had to be doing something important for just a moment there, so I missed that one little thing. What's the topic suggestion?
No,
we're
I was
slowly
just
getting there.
talking about how
We were just
I was
laughing.
just talking about how I'm apologizing to what I said earlier.
Yeah.
If you have to complain, please go to my channel and complain there.
Donde,
Don't complain on Arthur's channel. It's not his fault. My fault.
it's all good. Donde said, I don't know why, but I find it funny when Arthur cusses. And
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
now you guys know I keep this channel pretty family friendly because I want the educational part of it to hit the broader audience. But this was part of the story. It was in there. It's basically like me showing a clip of a movie. So apologies for the cussing or whatever, but it was in context. So there you have it. Laugh
it's
as you
not
will.
a problem.
Let me see. In the chat, we have, let's see, Funky, Bo said is sexy, abnormal. Ta-ta-ta. Just catching up here. Let's see if anybody has any suggestions. Awesome story. It was great, Arthur. Cheers. Okay, Maniac strength of 10. Man, talk about inner demons. Drugs can make a person act insane for sure. Combine drugs with other paranormal stuff, and you got serious in-depth insanity there. Talk about different viruses. Okay, so Louis suggested talk about different viruses that are responsible for zombies and the variety of them. That's
the
interesting.
Virus?
We have had an episode about monsters that assimilate. So you have like bacteria that assimilates. But yeah, different things.
What, you
maybe.
mean like the thing?
Sorry, say that again.
You mean like the thing that kind of takes over the bodies and that?
No. Well, that was more like for our assimilation episode, how monsters like assimilate an organism and combine.
Oh.
But what Louis is asking about is more specifically for creating zombies or the infected. Yeah. So I think we can keep zombies and infected on the same page for that kind of discussion. Men are more monstrous. Monsters.
What about cryptids? What about
Wendigos?
cryptids? We could do an episode on cryptids. We haven't done one yet.
We got
I'm hoping we
Wendigos.
eventually do one on cryptids. Especially if I can still do them.
Yeah. Again, that's such a big topic. It's going to be like one of those 101 episodes, like Cryptids 101. So
well,
yeah.
We could narrow it down somehow.
Yeah.
We have to.
Trevor,
like we do with the movies, we did obscure monsters, obscure monster movies.
Right. Yeah, let's see what you guys think about that. Trevor mentioned Wendigos, so that really does that.
That conversation would not go very long. I mean, there's only so much information. We all pretty much know about it, so it's not going to last.
Well, that's also something I do an all about episode in the future. Maybe something similar. I'm kind of saving the whole Wendigo thing for when I do that episode someday. I do like getting in depth and seeing what I learn. Because it takes days to look into this stuff really. No T-virus. So what do you guys think? So we got two options so far mentioned by our Monsterites. Let's check Discord real quick. Who mentioned what there? The game. Phobos is talking about Snake Girls again. By the way, guys, we got some freaks in our Monsterhood, which is quite natural and welcome and liked. Phobos is quite a freak from the snake feminine side. So if you have some nasty snake female with boobs type figurines, toys, sex toys, you can always hit up Phobos. He's your man for that. If you got some naughtiness concerning Necrons, and I'm talking serious X-rated stuff.
Did someone say Necrons?
You can always
we were talking about you.
hit up Z. He's your man for that.
And
don't forget tentacles. Don't forget tentacles.
And if
not
you
my tentacles either.
And I guess I should have mainly mentioned, if you are a snake female with overly, almost offensively large humanoid breasts, then contact
offensively large.
Phobos.
Such a heretical term.
I never thought I would hear those.
It makes your thoughts really wander. Offensively large breasts. or nipples.
I've
I
actually
mean,
seen
then
this,
we are
like, pie
talking
chart.
something along the lines of we're talking incapable of living. 150% of body mass, offensively large.
If you are
That's a
such
little bit going overboard.
a
I actually saw
female,
this like pie chart about anime woman breasts, and it's like I think it was 40% tiny, 10% normal, 50% super huge,
so
like double D and above.
if you are such a living female monstrous entity, do contact Phobos. And Phobos, a freebie. I don't know. I feel like you owe me a little bit for this advertisement. Z, contact Z if you are
Necrons in any
a
kind.
undead robot female of some sort, and you're
And or is female and wants to find a life partner that is interested in Necron.
there. You go. Nothing offensive about you. Just female Necron that needs a man. Needs a fleshy man to curl
Arthur?
up around your cold, hard body. Yes.
I was actually thinking about this. I know Resident Evil has done it before in one of their games, but why doesn't anybody make just on the topic of viruses? Why hasn't anybody made a zombie apocalypse where there's like a parasite? Like, there's a fish. It has a parasite in its mouth. The parasite would eat away the tongue and then essentially become the fish's new tongue while feeding off of the fish. Why doesn't anybody make like a parasite that it takes over your brain, but it sits in your mouth?
Isn't that what the strigoi from the strain are?
I've got
Yeah.
no idea what that is.
I have a video on
I
that.
only know of that thanks to our first episode that was put on YouTube talking about creatures that assimilate, and basically that is it's a good episode, and what you just described is basically that.
Okay,
They
so
don't
actually
really-
someone has done it before.
What they do is they turn your tongue, they turn your mouth, what's inside your mouth, into this stingish thing, so it can come out and basically suck your blood through like a.
Oh, that vampire thing.
Transformation, though.
Oh, now I know. I saw Offer's episodes on that. I forgot about that. creature,
Right,
actually.
because as we were, people were posting of a worm. It's the horsehair worm in our Discord. Basically, it gets into insects and kind of controls them to a good degree. And that was an inspiration behind the worms in the Strain series, Strigoi, which are these vampires. They are under the control of the Master, like with the Brethren Moons in Dead Space. But they also, another part of the whole thing are the worms. And they're inside and they're manipulating the host as well.
I actually completely forgot about the whole Strigoi thing. I actually completely forgot about it.
And by the way, guys, I finally forgot to play this, and we're running probably out of time here. There's this video that Gargamel shared with us, 25 two-sentence horror stories that are actually scary. So you can check out this video.
Two-sentence horror stories.
And it's
No more
it's-
toilet paper.
I'd like to ask, can we did we settle on what next week's topic is?
Not
yet.
yet. I wanted to say that I love the idea of these two-sentence horror stories or short because it's something you can do with poetry and scary stories. Like you can make these two-sentence writings that are really nice and complete. No, not poems, sorry. Jokes. You can make two-sentence jokes and make them work, or you can make them into scary stories. I think that's pretty cool. So I think in the future, we should all come up with a short two-sentence one, and maybe I can make a video on that. Back to choosing a topic.
Alright.
Let's see what you guys mentioned here. In the chat. Okay. Past comments. Okay, so the two options are different things that could create or parasites. I think we can even broaden it to different factors that could create zombies. I like that. Or the infected. So different viruses, or even we can go beyond. Or maybe let's just stick with viruses. Let's make it, let's stick with viruses. So no like magical means. Or we can talk about a suggestion by Gargamel, which is cryptids and cryptozoology. Something along those lines. So monsters that people have supposedly encountered. So all those ghost stories, Bigfoot, alien stories, Men in Black, those are all considered cryptids for those of you who didn't know. So maybe we vote on it? Okay. Let me know what you guys think. Dande, write in the Discord, which one would you prefer? Cryptids or... And then we can narrow that down later too. Cryptids or viruses and zombies. Let me know your decision. Phobos, you also make your vote in the text. Dog Donzo, what do you vote for?
I'm kind of split between the two, but I would choose viruses just because it's a little bit more in depth and it will give us a little bit more time to research on the cryptids to do an even better video of it next time.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like an episode we'd have to research a bit. But it's a good also a good pre-episode for if I would do a standalone video in the future, as I can gather all that information from our chat, and then I can do a more composed future video on it too. Gargamel, you're sticking with cryptid?
I'm hoping we do cryptid, but if not,
okay,
we just don't. And we'll...
I'll make a poll about it in the community section, so I'll have our whole community vote on which one we should talk about, and me and Gargamel will settle on a more specified maybe topic, and we'll bring that up later. Chris, what do you say?
Well, everything seems to point overwhelmingly at viruses, so might as well get that out of the way.
Okay. Phobos says viruses.
It's like a virus shot. You have to take it before it's over.
It's already spreading. It's already taken its effect. Phobos says viruses would be my choice. Dande said cryptids would be interesting, but if viruses are the ones, fine with me. Okay, so same as Chris on that. Okay, so I'll make an official poll about that here soon. Thanks, guys, for the Monstercast. Again, apologies for my reading and messing around there. But,
no problem.
Well, it was actually pretty good.
I already apologized.
Thanks for all your input. Remember, for funky fetishes, hit up Z and who's the other? Phobos, of course.
Is the funky fetish?
Who's really creative?
Z is the zombie stuff.
Who's really creative? Equinox. So don't let him hide from you out there. Gave it away. Thank you for the bit of humor from Doug Donzo with his wonderful mistake in wording. We appreciate it.
Yeah. It will probably be the worst thing I've ever done. I actually do feel bad about it.
All right. Thank you guys in the comments there. Trevor, OPK, Louis Zenadog, all you guys. D-Wez, Soul Traveler.
Don't worry, it is forever immortalized on the internet.
Exactly, that's my point.
Any last words from the voices?
Necrons are great. You should like Necrons. Even if you don't like Necrons, give them a try.
And as I've said in the past, we need a D&D individual in here too. We had one at one point, but not sure. So, outro music in. I'm going to be ending the stream very shortly here. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned to the next one. Happy Monstober. Hope you guys are enjoying the month. And again, send in your art submissions by October 31st. So until next time, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of this wonderful month.
Have a good time.
Okay, there it is. Okay. You guys can say bye, and then I'm gonna click stop.
Well, have a good night, everyone.
Trevor likes boobies.